Harry Truman did when he recognized the Jewish state. That's what President Obama did very movingly the other day in the UN. So why not do it? You know, stop walking around it, just do it.
Your comments on what Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just said on Charlie Rose.
First, I have to say, Oslo Agreement was supposed to be a transitional agreement, and it should be ending by May 4th, 1999. And by then, we have to have the Palestinian state. Well, actually, we are talking already now, 12 years after the supposedly end of the interim or a transitional period to have a Palestinian state, and what we are having, as I mentioned, de facto apartheid system, state of social, economic suffocation, and the worst year ever in our history. Mr. Netanyahu can cheat the whole world, but I'm telling you something very straightforward. The worst thing in occupation, it's like being on a quicksand, and every move you are doing, you are sinking. And the worst is the moral sinking. Israel has no moral, no values, rule of law, democracy, human rights. That's what has been proven, not by us as Palestinians, but by all international human rights organizations with no exception, whether in the US or in Europe, Israel or Palestine. Across the globe, I'm telling you, Israel facing very serious problem. It's the problem they cannot live with what they are doing. Goldstone report was one of the bold examples on that. In a clear-cut way, he spoke about war crimes. Exactly. About war crimes, crimes against humanity has been perpetrated against Palestinians. And this has been approved not only by this committee, but by the Human Rights Council in the UN, by the General Assembly. And Israel, with all that, get along. They enjoy absolute legal, political cover by the US and Europe. And they are doing just more and more. This is stupid rhetoric. I mean, what Mr. Netanyahu is saying, you know, cannot be said nowadays. Who's the powerful? Who's the strong? Who's the occupied? I mean, Palestinians are occupying Israel? I'm telling you, I mean, war crimes, the crimes against humanity on day-to-day basis happening. Occupation, the last prolonged belligerent occupation on earth, still continuing, I mean, with us. And he's talking about, we are a threat to Israel. Israel to enjoy and have nuclear arms. Are we having that? Israel having the most strongest army, the fifth strongest army on earth. Are we having that? Is he afraid of the Palestinians, the Palestinian civilians? That's the excuse he's doing, all what they are doing. What we need, simple, clear, direct. End of this Israeli belligerent occupation. Nobody on earth can support occupation. What we need, simple, protection for Palestinian civilians in the occupied territories. What we need, self-determination, independence of a Palestinian state in Gaza, West Bank, including Jerusalem. That's the whole world position vis-a-vis the conflict and vis-a-vis the Palestinians.
Your assessment of President Obama's role?
I think we have been deceived. And he shot directly at the head of the Palestinian Arab rule of law, democracy, and the human rights movement. He deceived us, and we are in absolute shock. We wanted to believe him at his campaign, when he gave his speech in Cairo, when he gave his speech in Berlin, and we wanted to believe that President Obama will bring a new era to this part of the world, which needs really rule of law, democracy, and human rights. And we were the first to make the Arab Revolution spring by our elections in January 2007. We were held accountable and punished by the Quartet, including US, and now the entire spring in the Arab world moving, and we are denied to be part of it.
Can you say a little bit about the effect of the so-called Arab Spring on the Palestinian people?
I think that makes us feel much stronger, much happier, more optimistic in the future, because this movement of rule of law, democracy, and human rights against all those rotten dictatorships who were supported basically by the West and precisely U.S., are supporting the Palestinian cause, whether they are from the right or left, whether they are religious or secular, whether they are Marxist or national or pan-Arab. The entire movement against these rotten dictatorships are supporting the Palestinian cause. We don't expect, soon, results for that, but I'm definite this will be great asset in the future for the Palestinian and Palestinian cause. I think what's happening, in the region, it's like the pyramids are moving, but it seems yet the West is not aware of that, or it's very hard for them to digest this elephant which is happening in the region.
Raji Sourani, as we wrap up, you were one of the leading human rights lawyers, not just in Gaza, not in the occupied territories, but in the world. You have trouble coming into the United States now?
I have been denied 11 years from visiting the United States.
Starting when?
And the reason which was given to me, official one in paper, that I'm affiliated with terrorist organization. I was overwhelmed and shocked to know that, because it has nothing to do with me. And I think, at some stage, I was politically active. I was imprisoned by the Israelis, and I was sentenced. And afterwards, I was many, many times arrested by the Israelis and by the PA during Arafat period because of my human rights activities and being in defense of the Palestinian people. This is my record. And in the 1990, I was helped by Columbia University to leave after 17 years of being restricted, not allowed to leave Gaza. I came here and I was visiting scholar at Columbia University, and between 1990 and 2000 I was shuttling back and forth annually 2-3 times, and was granted more than one time 5 years visa. And out of the blue I was denied that, and this time after real serious campaign orchestrated by many different bodies, including CCR, Columbia University, RFK Center for Human Rights, Human Rights Watch, and many others, including President Carter. They allowed me to have a waiver for one entry 3 months. I'm not saying this time more than 2 weeks and leaving, but I hope something will change in this regard. And I'm regretting that U.S. dealing with such person like me, as a blacklisted person. If we are blacklisted, who are not?
We want to thank you very much, Raji Sourani, for being with us. Award-winning human rights lawyer, director of the Palestinian Center for Human Rights in Gaza, executive board member of the International Federation for Human Rights. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org.